I already gave him his warning. Fight like your life depends on it, because it does.
It just pisses me off, Corbett. And then...
You're good, take a break.
Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul. A fight America can't stop talking about. Mike Tyson has just dropped a bombshell on Jake Paul, and the YouTube star turned boxer is feeling the heat.
The baddest man on the planet, Iron Mike Tyson, making his return to boxing this summer, and he's facing former YouTube star Jake Paul in Texas. Now, the whole thing is going to be streamed exclusively on Netflix. The fight is Tyson's second boxing match since 2005. He will be 58 years.
This isn't your run-of-the-mill trash talk. Tyson went straight for the jugular, and let's just say Jake Paul is not handling it well. If you thought Tyson was the type to forgive and forget, think again. He's never been one to let someone drag his name through the mud.
Obviously, devastating news. I'm heartbroken, speechless, gutted. We've been working so hard over here, everyone in this camp, and I just feel bad for everyone involved in this event, the whole undercard. Opportunity has been ripped from all of us, but I do value Mike's health first and foremost. Love that guy, I have so much respect for him, and I want Mike to be healthy. And he says he still is gonna knock me out, and I bought myself some time. So Mike is still talking shit over there, but Mike, if you want to do this, like you said, behind closed doors, behind the scenes, you've said you want to do this in Q4. You just need a little bit of time, so I'm ready whenever you are. This is too big of an opportunity. I think this fight's going to change the world, and I turn all my L's into W's. That's a motto I live by, and the universe makes no mistakes, so let's see what's in store. But sorry this didn't work out. To everyone, the fans, love you guys.
And Jake Paul? He's done plenty of that. Tyson hasn't limited himself to criticizing Paul's skills. He's made it personal, calling Paul a fraud, a social media clown, and saying he fights like a 5-year-old. Brutal words from a man who knows what real boxing looks like. This is no ordinary matchup.
Day 2, we're getting ready for you.
Tyson, the baddest man on the planet, is set to face Paul in Texas on November 15th, with Netflix streaming the fight live. At 58 years old, Tyson is stepping into the ring for only the second time since 2005, and the entire sports world is buzzing. From day one, Tyson has refused to take it easy on Paul, and honestly, Jake brought that on himself. Paul has spent years poking the bear, but he seems to have forgotten that Tyson isn't like the opponents he's faced before.
Yeah, the news is true, folks. I, Jake Paul, will be fighting Mike Perry, Tampa, Florida.
This isn't a retired basketball player or a past his prime MMA fighter. This is Mike Tyson, the man who once bit off part of Evander Holyfield's ear and built a reputation as one of the most feared fighters in history. You don't taunt a man like that without consequences. Tyson has accused Paul of cherry-picking weak opponents, ducking real boxers, and trying to shortcut his way into boxing glory. His message has been clear: if you want to talk tough, prove it in the ring. For Tyson, this fight isn't just about a payday. It's about protecting the integrity of boxing and demanding respect from a younger generation that often looks for shortcuts. Originally scheduled for July 20th, 2024, the fight was postponed after Jake Paul pulled the plug, citing concerns about Tyson's health. That move sent shockwaves through the boxing world. Fans were furious. The fight had been the most talked about sporting event of the year, a clash of generations that had people debating everywhere from barbershops to office break rooms. Bets were flying, social media was on fire, and even people who don't normally follow boxing were eager to tune in. And then, just like that, Jake canceled. For many, it felt like the ultimate low blow. Paul claimed to care about Tyson's health, but Tyson himself made it clear he wasn't done talking or fighting. He's promised that whenever and wherever this fight happens, Jake Paul will regret stepping into the ring. Make no mistake, this is more than a boxing match. It's a showdown between old school grit and new school hype. Tyson built his legacy the hard way, in blood and sweat. Paul built his in front of a camera. On November 15th, the world will find out which one really holds up under the bright lights. Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul, hype, drama, and a fight for boxing soul. Mike Tyson has never been one to bite his tongue, and his latest words toward Jake Paul prove it. The former heavyweight champion delivered a verbal knockout that left the YouTube star turned boxer scrambling. This isn't your typical war of words. Tyson isn't joking, and Jake Paul isn't handling it well. For Tyson, grudges aren't easily forgotten. He built his reputation not only on power inside the ring but also on a relentless mindset. When Paul began mocking him and stirring up controversy, Tyson didn't just critique Paul's skills. He made it personal, branding him a fraud and a social media clown, the kind of insults that cut deeper because they came from one of boxing's most respected legends. The two are set to face off on November 15th in Texas, with the fight streaming exclusively on Netflix. For Tyson, this will be only his second boxing match since 2005. At 58, he's still in remarkable shape, and fans are eager to see how he stacks up against a brash challenger like Paul, but the path to this fight hasn't been smooth. Originally scheduled for July 20, 2024, the bout was postponed after Paul blamed Tyson's health. The excuse? A flare-up of an ulcer while Tyson was on a flight. Tyson reassured fans he was fine, but Paul seized the moment to delay. Many saw it as a convenient way to buy time, or even an attempt to avoid facing Tyson altogether. Instead, Paul lined up a fight with UFC veteran Mike Perry. Perry is no pushover, known for his iron chin and knockout power, but stepping into a boxing ring with him isn't the same as facing a legend like Tyson. To many fans, the move looked like a calculated retreat, a way for Paul to stay in the spotlight without risking his momentum against an opponent who could define, or derail, his career. Meanwhile, Tyson hasn't let up. He's been relentless in calling out Paul for ducking real opponents and cherry-picking easier fights. He's mocked Paul's technique, saying he has the fundamentals of a 5-year-old, and demanded respect for the sport that Tyson helped build. His message is clear: the younger generation can't bypass the grind and expect to be taken seriously. Adding fuel to the fire, Tyson's camp has hinted at legal action over the cancellation, reportedly in the hundreds of millions of dollars. The pressure on Paul is mounting. What once looked like a bold career move is beginning to feel like a trap he set for himself. For boxing fans, this clash isn't just about two men in a ring. It represents a collision of eras: Tyson, the symbol of old-school grit and raw power, against Paul, the embodiment of new-age fame and digital hype. One carved his reputation with sweat and blood under the bright lights of Madison Square Garden. The other built his with a camera and an internet connection. Whether the fight happens on November 15th or gets delayed again, one thing is certain: